Awesome. So the session is being recorded. So anyone that isn't in the building, obviously you guys will still be able to catch up. So we're gonna do the things to be done. We'll get started with AUDCAD. We'll go through our set list of pairs because they're obviously interesting. SUSIEN is not part of our set list of pairs, but we'll go through our set list of pairs, and then obviously we've got pairs that we're gonna take action on next week. So from the pairs that we're gonna take action, we've got 5 pairs that we're looking to buy next week, and then obviously we've got 2 pairs that we're gonna be looking to sell, and both of them are JPY code pairs. SUSIEN, we're gonna be looking for scale ins because you guys know we're already holding a position on SUSIEN. Otherwise, let's get started, guys. Let's get started. So AUDCAD, things look very much similar as they did last week. If we just go over the high time frame analysis, we've got momentum. After this momentum, we've got a corrective structure. And then obviously we've got some momentum breaking this corrective structure. And naturally so, we want to trade in the direction of this momentum, hopefully towards some sort of a 90% rule. So all we're doing in our analysis is in this section here, we're looking for that corrective structure, obviously to give us that continuation to the upside. So on AUDCAD, things are very simple, higher time frame, at least for us to get a directional bias. Nothing's too complicated. Nonetheless, let's just go to our most recent structure here on a daily. So basically, everything still remains the same as last week. We spoke about, obviously, this is an impulsive move. Market is currently moving. We're looking for points of or origins of momentum. We find a bullish engulfing here. We want to trade inside of there. We find another bullish engulfing down here. Obviously, we want to trade inside of these zones here. So all we're going to be doing is we're going to be, with our bullish bias, we're going to obviously go down onto the 4 hour and then obviously find those points of interest for us to be able to find some sort of a trigger or some sort of an entry here. Nonetheless, all I did was I found this as a nice POI over there for us to look for some young long opportunities. But on a 4 hour, you guys can see this corrective structure a little bit more clearly. This corrective structure, oddly enough, has given us first touch, second touch, and a third touch. So obviously we should be expecting maybe that momentum to push to the upside. But aside from us maybe being at some sort of a support or whatever the case is, yes, we could argue we're at support. We can still buy. Cool. We'll buy if we find a reversal structure forming inside of this area. So if price action maybe does give us some sort of an inverse of some sort or whatever the case is, then we will be looking to buy inside of this area here because we're at support. We're at a support trend line. We're still inside this corrective structure. Everything is still good. Otherwise, if we do break down, then obviously this is the next POI that we are looking for our long trading opportunities. And obviously from here, we're expecting price action to break back into this descending structure and then hopefully continue to the upside. So in all cases, guys, we're 100% bullish, or at least I'm 100% bullish on AUDCAD. This is the setup that I'm looking for. This is my POI where we're obviously going to be looking to add size and we're going to be looking to turn a day trade or at least a scalp into a day trade, from a day trade into a swing trade. Anything that happens over here, I'm not going to be adding size on it yet until maybe we've got a structure that gives us better probabilities. But as of now, we are bullish, but there is nothing for us to be bullish inside of here. The only place we can be bullish is from here. Otherwise, let's wait for a chart pattern to form inside of here. Let's go on to some AJ. We're done. So if you guys have any questions, yes, I will be going through the chats in between every pair just so that we're all on the same page. So on AJ, we're going to be looking for that downside continuation. Unfortunately, the the super setup that we were expecting, we were looking for price action to come up here, give us a third touch, tap this POI, and then obviously we're expecting the sell. So we were expecting some nice RR, some nice probabilities, but that wasn't AJ's plan. AJ just decided she's going to break down from where price action was the last time we saw it. But otherwise, you guys know we don't chase the market. We always wait for the market to come to us and fulfill our agenda. Otherwise, how do we know that what we're doing is working if we're always just going to follow and just do things on impulse? We need to be patient and wait for our stuff to play through. Otherwise, on AJ, higher time frame, we've got this corrective structure here. We broke out of this corrective structure. We've got this support over here. We see some nice momentum breaking this support. After this momentum, we obviously entered some sort of a corrective structure. So naturally, so we want to trade in direction of this momentum, higher time frame towards the downside. So we've got a nice bearish directional bias here on AJ. Let's just go to the most recent price action. Okay, so much the most recent price action. The only thing that we're going to speak about on the most recent price action is that we've got this support structure over here, obviously, that we've broken with some nice momentum. And obviously, price can come back to retest this level of structure before we find downside continuation. So that's our agenda. That's what we're looking for. We're going to hope that price has come up to retest and then give us an opportunity to jump into the momentum. But otherwise, if she doesn't, we're not going to be chasing this market. We'll just let it go. We'll just let it go. So on a 4 hour, obviously you guys can see we've broken structure. We've got a nice bearish engulfing over here, which serves as our momentum shift. That's where we want to trade. Obviously, there is one that's a little bit higher, but yes, it's going to require more patience. So let's just look at this for now. Otherwise, all we're going to be waiting for, very simple. We're going to be waiting for our corrective structures to come and terminate inside of this POI. That's where we'll be looking to add size. And obviously looking for our structures to terminate there for our shorts. All we're doing is just riding to the 90% rule. If price gets to this low here, obviously, before we correct, then there is no way that I'm going to be looking for continuation on this pair. We'll just let her go. She's already close to the support, and then obviously there's nothing we can do. So let's just hope that AJ decides to start buying on Monday morning so we can find that downside continuation. AU, we're going to be buyers on AU. Let's just go up to a daily and we'll discuss the daily time frame structure. Yes, guys, I'm trying to be as quick as possible because I don't have a battery where I am and all those nice good stuff. So we're gonna try and be as quick as possible. So otherwise on AU, we've still got momentum to the upside. We've got our nice, beautiful corrective structure here. And naturally so we're expecting momentum to break this corrective structure to follow through this momentum that we saw on our left-hand side. So I guess when it comes to this structure over here, what we saw was some first touch, second touch, and then at this third touch, we've got some sort of a manipulation or a violation of the structure. But we did break back into the structure and we even broke above this last high over here, obviously, which is our last source of supply. Nonetheless, we know someone somewhere in this planet is willing to buy AU, and we want to be in the direction of those people that are willing to buy AU. Why? Because we've got momentum, we've got a corrective structure, and as well as some sort of a reversal structure that could form that gives us all of those bullish bias probabilities. One thing to mention about AU, if we just look over, we don't even have to, I don't even think it's difficult to spot. I feel like it's very much obvious in our faces that AU is coming down with a lot of momentum, or at least more momentum than we would like to see, since we've got a bullish directional bias. So what we're going to be waiting for on AU is we're going to be waiting for a reversal structure. Let's just go down to 4 hours so we can do the things to be done here. Cool. So on a 4 hour, we've got our momentum shift down here. Obviously, this is our lowest buy, or at least one of the low buys, where we'd be at least love to look for those upside continuation structures. But otherwise, we are still inside of this structure. So if AU does form some sort of a reversal structure and we don't tap into this POI, obviously this reversal structure that will form will give me another POI that I'll be able to use. So that's what, that's what we'll be doing. What we can do just for control is we can add a resistance trend line over here. And we know that as long as price action is still below this resistance trend line, this is still a seller's market, obviously. We don't need to cut our trends and all these English and seller's market. As long as we're below the trend line, we're in a downtrend, or the downtrend is still in play. So otherwise, if we don't find a reversal structure inside of the structure, then the only other thing we're going to be doing is waiting for AU to tap into our POI, obviously our last momentum shift. And then obviously we'll be bullish from that momentum shift over there. All in all, we're expecting a higher time frame inverse head and shoulders, obviously, to send price action up. So I'm nice and bullish on AU. Let's go on to New Zealand dollar CAD. We'll be quick on the pairs that we don't have much to do. So New Zealand dollar CAD was just an absolute something last week, because no, it wasn't New Zealand dollar CAD last week. Yes, last week New Zealand dollar CAD actually ran away from us. She actually ran away from us. We were looking for an entry inside of here. We're expecting price action to come back and tap this zone to give us that long opportunity, and she just never came back. And you guys can see we came like a couple of pips close to TP. So since the move that we were looking for last week has already moved, obviously without us in the market, it's cool. It doesn't matter, guys. Let me drop one nugget there as we're gonna continue, but let me drop one nugget before we continue. The trading is not about catching every single up and every single down you see in the market. That's not what trading is about, because you can't and you won't. I will promise you that you won't be able to catch every single move up and every single move down. What your job is your job is to look and find areas and obviously directions where probabilities lie in your favor. And those are the moves that you're trying to take. You're not trying to catch every up move and every down move. So yes, price moved away from us, but that doesn't mean it's over. What this means to us is that this environment is not an environment where our strategy would be profitable. Even if we did buy and even if price did go in our direction, can we rinse and repeat? Can we still take a setup that looks exactly like this in the future? Probably not, because I don't have a plan that allows me to get in this environment. So at any point in time, we're always trading the plan, because at never ever will I think I am smarter than my plan, because my plan has made me a lot more money than me guessing and saying I think, I should have, I could have, I whatever. My plan has made me a lot more money. So never ever will I say that I'm smarter than my plan. We always follow a plan. We always follow, because that's what makes us money at the end of the day. Otherwise, New Zealand dollar CAD, let's just explain the high time frame structure and then we'll leave it, because there's not much we're going to do on this pair. So we've got momentum. Obviously here, we wanted to trade in the direction of this momentum. We had a support, and obviously we saw price action slowing down as we came towards and broke this support in a corrective manner. After we broke in a corrective manner, we saw momentum, and obviously that was the reason for us to look for upside continuation. Now that all of this stuff has happened, or whatever the case is, there is nothing that I guess there is nothing left for us on New Zealand dollar CAD. So for now, we'll exercise patience. We'll wait. If we want to buy New Zealand dollar CAD, let's rather look at AUDCAD, because both of these pairs are positively correlated. And obviously, you guys can see there's a much clearer setup on AUDCAD than there is on New Zealand dollar CAD for that exact same buy. So otherwise, let's go into some NJ. NJ, same as last week. I even regret not trading this pair last week, because it seems to have moved so much more as a JPY code pair than the other JPY code pairs that we've been looking at. I see Sauda saying, I fully agree with you on that nugget. 100% Sauda. Definitely appreciate that. I'm glad you're in the building, man. I'm glad you're in the building. You just made me nervous. But anyway, I'll get over it. Anyway, so New Zealand dollar yen. So New Zealand dollar yen, there's not much for us here. We had an ascending structure. Cool. We were looking to be sellers or whatever at the high of the range. And then obviously this is the low of the range. All we're doing is we're waiting for structures, for chart patterns to form to increase our probabilities, because clearly, as much as maybe this is an ascending structure, this ascending structure is not aggressive at all. We've been moving sideways more than anything. More than we've been moving up, we've been moving sideways. So obviously, if we're stuck inside of a range, we either trade the high or the low of the range, or we wait for chart patterns to form inside of the range that will obviously increase our probabilities. If we don't see any one of those, then there's no reason we should be making decisions on this pair, or on any other pair for that matter. Otherwise, let's go on to some US30. So on US30, US30, I'm hoping to be a seller. I'm still downside. I'm still looking to sell US30. Like I told you guys from the start that the world is crashing and burning, and we need to have a contingency to sell these indices. So my contingency is that US30 warrants me to look for sells. Clear enough, I'm gonna look to sell US30 every opportunity I get. And then obviously, if we want to buy an indice, we can buy NASDAQ, because the structure allows for us to make those types of decisions. So even still, we're not forcing our bias. We're not forcing what we think, what we feel on these pairs. The fact that I want to sell yesterday, I'm not forcing that. I'm still trading the structure that I see. Obviously, now the world is crashing and burning, so we're like allowing for those aggressive sells. So long story short, on US30, basically we were looking at the structure, right? Structure, we approached the resistance, we slowed down as we got to that resistance, we found momentum, we slowed down a little bit more, and then obviously we got more momentum breaking structure, and then more momentum breaking structure. So obviously we want to be sellers in this market, but look at where price action is right now. We can't sell from, or at least we can't sell into a support. So we need to wait for price action to move away from the support if we still want to be sellers. Nonetheless, on a 4-hour, let's speak about the price action. 4-hour came from the top. We've got a nice young support over there. We've got a nice resistance, and obviously we've just broken structure. So naturally so, break and a retest type of thing, we're looking for that downside continuation. Let's drop the time frames, or at least go down the time frame, so that I can show you guys where these points of interest are from. Okay, this is all last week. Why is... Okay, wait, just give me 1 second. Let me just delete all of this stuff here, because this was last week. This was the sell. Cool. We're done with all of that stuff. Since price action is fairly close to support, what I want to do is I want to be as safe as possible. Where is this POI? Don't tell me this is just a random POI that's just there. Let me just wait for this chart to load so that I can see where... Oh, okay. It's a 5-minute POI. So it's a 5-minute POI. You guys can see there's our momentum shift over here. Obviously, we're looking for that bearish engulfing, because we want to trade where we see evidence of other people making the decisions that we are trying to make. So obviously, bearish engulfing, nice momentum shift. That momentum shift somewhat aligns with our break and a retest area. So obviously, we see some probabilities there for a young short. Ooh, price is very far away from it. So obviously we're going to need to exercise patience. But if price decides to buy from here, then NASDAQ is our baby. I'm only going to be looking to sell US30. I don't think I'll involve myself in swings to the upside. I can even hold. I'm 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 that I'm that crazy right now that I don't feel good about indices right now. This year something very interesting is going to happen. Well, market is going to jump. But otherwise, on NASDAQ, like we explained, we had momentum breaking some, obviously, this downtrend that we had over there. We had some momentum violating nice and impulsively. After we saw this momentum, we've got a corrective structure. Inside of this corrective structure, if we compare the cells inside of here on NASDAQ versus the cells on US30, we can see that US30 has been so much more aggressively selling off than NASDAQ. So obviously, someone is way more convinced at selling NASDAQ than they are at selling sorry, they're way more convinced at selling US30 than they are at selling NASDAQ. So that's why we've got the contingency of obviously looking for bullish bias trading opportunities on NASDAQ, since they lied to us when we started learning Forex and they told us that these indices are long-term bullish. Where is long-term bullish, guys? Where is long-term bullish? If you bought Tesla last year, your whole portfolio is down 70%. So tell me, where is long-term bullish? Timing still is of the essence here. But otherwise, let's go down to time frames just so that we can find this POI. I think this POI is on a smaller time frame. Will it allow us to look at? Okay, anyway, the POI is there. Just look at the price range. We don't need to go there. I don't want to waste a lot of time because we still need to go through the other pairs. Nonetheless, we've got this corrective structure. If price action obviously comes down to the low of the corrective structure, we're going to be looking for a reversal structure. That reversal structure, yes, we're expecting it to terminate at our POI, but nonetheless, I'm bullish on NASDAQ from the support trend line. Let's go on to some SUSIAN. SUSIAN will be fast because we have a pair. We have a position on this pair. So there's not much we're going to talk about, I guess. So all we're doing is we're just trading in direction of the trend. We've got a nice downside momentum over here. And obviously we've got a big corrective structure over here. So naturally we want to trade in direction of the momentum. If we go down into a 4-hour, we can see multi-touch structure with our first touch being there, second touch being there, third touch being there. And obviously this is our resistance trend line. And on a 4-hour, what we have here is our nice momentum shift. Obviously big bearish engulfing. That's where we wanted to trade. That's where we found a young entry for ourselves. Katlego, what are you circling there, man? What are you circling there? Let me clear your drawing, man. Let me clear your drawing for you. I'll help you out there, man. I'll help you out. Otherwise, let's continue, man. Let's continue. So on Susien, we basically just found a young entry there. We took a risk entry on Susien for the sell. So obviously, all we got to do now is exercise patience. Hopefully, once price action or if price action does break this low here, that's why I have an alert set here. Once we break this low over here, then obviously we have finally created a new lower low inside of this corrective uptrend to the upside. And once we got a new lower low, then obviously those are characteristics of a downtrend. That's the kind of price action that we want to see if we're holding sells on a pair. We want to see lower lows and lower highs being formed. So otherwise, it's still patience. We've reduced risk. We were holding a lot of risk on this pair. And then obviously we reduced the risk before Friday close. But nonetheless, we'll just see if we get a follow through. You guys can see the whole setup. You guys can see the bias, the explanation. Not much that we need to speak about. Let's go. Let's see what's happening in the chats there. And then we'll sort out the lovers. Why are you cracking, man? Why are you cracking? You're laughing. What did I say that you're laughing, man? What did I say? Can you hear anything? I see my mic moving, so it's probably just on your side, man. Susian is gonna do the most next week. We're all gonna eat. I would just hope so. I would just hope so. Because I was already eating just this small move. Oh, I was shocked at how much I was holding in just small move. I so badly wanted to close and do stupid things, but I call myself a trader, and traders follow rules. So otherwise, I'm still holding my full position here, guys. I'm still holding my full position. I was excited about that money, but let's hold through the weekend. No stress, man. No stress, no stress. That's why I didn't mind. I just overlooked it and we move on. So otherwise, for our sell pairs that we're looking to sell, we spoke about AJ, we spoke about Susien. So we know that those two pairs that we're looking to sell are obviously on our set list of pairs. Pairs that we're going to be looking to buy. Let's go into New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I think okay, I see what's going on here. I see what my what my whole analysis was. I think long-term NASDAQ buys and holds were for COVID times. Yeah, for sure, for sure. You see everything that we grew up learning. Literally every single fucking piece of info. Oh, I apologize for swearing there. This is gonna go on YouTube. My apologies. Uh, but otherwise, every single piece of information that we learned that they told us that is from 1960, whatever, the environment is not the same. That environment that existed in those times is not the same environment. And if we're going to just believe and just trade blindly based off all of that information that has been circling this planet for ever since Forex has been invented, we're not going to be profitable because that's not the environment that we are currently trading in. Right now, the environment is completely different. And I was literally telling someone the other day, go on NASDAQ or go on US30, go on a daily. Oh, US30 is much better for this example. But even on a weekly, go on a weekly time frame, on a high time frame, and look at the types of candlesticks that you used to see in the past, even before 2021. Just before 20, look at how small, this is a weekly, look at how small these weekly candlesticks are. Look at that environment, and now look at the type of environment that we're in. The environment that we're in is completely different. It's not the same. So what worked in that environment will not work in this environment. This environment needs something else from you. Yes, that is a much better example. If you look at the change in volatility, coronavirus was like our first introduction of some hectic volatility. And ever since then, our environment has just been very volatile. Big moves up, big moves down. Is not the same as how it was in 2018, 20, whenever, when 1 week, look at how small a weekly candlestick is. Not the same environment. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Let's quickly go through our set list of pairs, see what's going on. There's been a huge change from 2020 to now. Massive moves. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I see that a lot of uncertainty in the market. And whenever uncertainty is there, there's going to be volume, because there's people that want to take advantage of the fact that some people are trading out of impulse. And then obviously there's those people that are trading out of impulse. So that will just equal a hell of a lot of volatility, or at least volume, let's just say. Maybe not volatility, but the volume will be there. Came in a bit late. Did you touch on GU? No, GU is not on my set list of pairs for the week. I don't have any analysis on GU. No plan for GU. So it's not on the watch list. But nonetheless, for New Zealand dollar, US dollar, all we're just doing, okay, we don't even need to look at high time frame structure. Most recent structure on a daily, all we're just trying to do is catch this inverse head and shoulders. So we've got momentum. Obviously, momentum gave us some support. This is the last area of supply that we have that managed to break our last support. Obviously, we saw buyers completely reversing that move. And where have we done? We've broken back above a level of structure that in the future we can come back to retest. So naturally, so we've got a corrective structure. We did break here. How did we break? We broke in a corrective manner because we broke below, we broke back above. So even still, I'm feeling okay about being a buyer on New Zealand dollar, US dollar. And since a friend of mine is being bullish on EU, it makes me feel a little bit comfortable that if these US dollar pairs, or if we do see some dollar weakness, at least I have one pair that I'll be able to capitalize on some dollar weakness. Otherwise, let's just look at the structure here. On a 4 hour, there is no, okay, so start off the bat, there is no POI that we can use on our left-hand side to try and find a sniper or whatever the case is. What we're going to have to do here on New Zealand dollar yen is we're going to have to look for or wait for price to give us a new POI here somewhere where we are right now. But otherwise, all I have is I've got a first touch here. I've got a young second touch over there. And naturally, so I'm waiting for price action to come down and give me a third touch of structure. And obviously, that's where I'm looking for my reversal structure for the upside continuation. So New Zealand dollar yen, very simple. All we're waiting for is just price action must break below this low. Obviously, give us that third touch, and then we're bullish. Aussie CAD, we've spoken about Aussie CAD already. We're nice and bullish on this pair. AU, we've spoken about AU already. We're nice and bullish on AU. Pound Swiss franc. So this is like one of the first times I actually have a GBP pair on my watch list, and I'm gonna make a decision on a pound pair. Out of all the currencies on this planet, I hate pound pairs. Out of all of the currencies on the planet, I hate pound pairs. But otherwise, let's trade this one. So things are not very complicated here, but obviously it's going to require some patience. There is no POI that I can use, but the structure still makes sense nonetheless. So I'm just going to stick to the most recent structure because high time frame structure is just going to confuse us and make us waste time. We've got some momentum, we've got a corrective structure, and we've got a couple of equal lows over here. All we're doing is we're waiting for a violation of those equal lows. We want to see a reversal structure forming obviously below this low and hopefully holding above this low. So even if we reject this low, whatever the case is, I want to see price action obviously holding above this low for me to be bullish. So all we're doing is once price action breaks down below this low, we can even set an alert if that's how serious we are about this. We can even set an alert there. And obviously, once our alert gets triggered, we're looking for our reversal structures. And our reversal structure obviously will give us an entry for our bullish momentum. All we're doing is we're just trading to 90% of the structure. So wherever we find an entry, we're trading to obviously our most recent supply. Let me just come here and mute everyone. I don't know, someone unmuted themselves. Cool. Last pair, NASDAQ. Okay, it's cool. It looks like we've spoken about NASDAQ already. We're bullish on NASDAQ. So we've gone through all of the pairs. We're 100% done. Yo, guys, this is like record time. Half an hour. We've never ever finished. So I was saying pound pairs are my baby when it behaves. Eish. Yeah, hey. What I so love about the market is that at any point in time, like I posted the other day, your circle of competence or your level of competence is always at question. Anyone can trade anything because people make money on literally anything and everything under the sun. But doesn't mean because someone traded NASDAQ and made 6 million that you're going to trade NASDAQ and be profitable. Doesn't mean because people are trading VIX that they're making millions and millions on the weekend that when you go trade VIX, you're going to make millions and millions. No, it's all about your circle of competence. We are all dumb in everything that we try out for the first time. But the longer you trade and the more you develop that circle of competence, that experiential knowledge, obviously, the better you'll get. And if we quote Warren Buffett's quote, that last quote that I posted by Warren Buffett, that risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. If you don't know how to trade, for example, NASDAQ, you are obviously going to be taking on a lot more risk than someone that knows how to trade NASDAQ. That person that knows how to trade NASDAQ is going to take a lot less losses than you because you're just trying the things to be done. Otherwise, let me not waste time and just talk for nothing. Are there no questions? If there aren't any questions, we can say let there be peace in the streets, and then our brothers and sisters will be safe. Otherwise, we'll answer whatever questions you guys have. If you guys want to unmute yourself, maybe to ask your question verbally, then just raise your hand. I don't know. This thing is not like WhatsApp. You can't see if someone's typing because maybe someone is typing now and I think, okay, thanks for a great session. Quick in and out. 100%. That means we're all up to speed. Obviously, Sauda's up to speed. This woman kills NASDAQ on her own, US30 and NASDAQ. She kills it on her own. She don't need any of us. But anyway, thanks guys for being part of the session. Yeah, let there be peace. It's all peace, brother, man. Thanks, bro. That means we're all good. That means we're all good, guys. We'll see each other in the groups. Enjoy the rest of your guys this weekend. Cheers, guys.